Background of Brown versus Board Education case. There was a spirited but equal rule from the U.S. Supreme Court's 1896 Plessy versus Ferguson case. It basically said that the racial segregation was okay as long as the facilities for each race were considered equal by law. In 1951, the Topeka Board of Education refused to let Linda Brown, a black child, attend a nearby public school that was only for white kids. Because of that, Linda had to walk across train track and take buses just to get to the school for black children. The Brown family ended up suing the board, arguing that even the facilities were claimed to be equal, segregation still caused psychological and social harm to black kids.
So next is the legal basis of Brown versus Board of Education. The main legal basis of Brown versus Board of Education case is the 14th Amendment, especially the Equal Protection Clause. This clause states the government must treat people equally. So why this clause matters in Brown versus Board of Education? In the Brown case, schools were separated by race. Black children had to go to different schools, and these schools were not as good as the schools for white children. This showed that the state was not giving equal treatment for everyone. Because the Constitution requires equal protection, the Supreme Court used this clause to decide that school segregation was not allowed. This is why the Equal Protection Clause became the central legal basis for the Brown decisions.
The second legal basis explains why the separate but equal rule was rejected. The rule came from a 1896 case called Plessy versus Ferguson. It allowed black and white students to go to different schools as long as the schools were said to be equal. But in Brown versus Board of Education, the Supreme Court said this rule was wrong. They found that separate schools were not equal at all. They also said that segregation hurt black children and made them feel less valued. Because of this, the court decided that the separate but equal rule went against the Constitution. This decision ended the rule in education and made school segregation illegal in the United States.
Now I would like to explain you the case analysis by explaining the both sides of the argument. The first side is from the plaintiff side, which is the Brown side. Their first argument is separate schools are not equal because back then black schools have fewer more facilities. The second one is segregation causes psychological harm because there is this test called the Dole test, and this Dole test doctrine the black child that black is bad, white is good. The third one is violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. The last one is segregation creates lifelong disadvantages because it creates fewer college opportunities and job opportunities. The board of directors sides explain that state laws allow segregation, so they're just following the rules. The second one claims schools were separate but equal based on the Plessy versus Ferguson. The third one said tradition should continue and segregation is normal back then. The fourth one is education is the responsibility of the states, not the federal Supreme Court.
Let me continue for the case analysis. So first, the court emphasized that education is essential in modern democracy. It accepted the psychological evidence from the Dole test showing that segregation created a sense of inferiority in black children. Because of this, the court said that even facilities look similar, segregation is still unequal and violates the Equal Protection Clause. This led to the key conclusion, which is separate educational facilities are inherently unequal. The ruling rejected the separate but equal doctrine by Plessy Ferguson in public education, ending the legal basis for segregated schools. After the decision, schools were ordered to desegregate, although many states resisted. In the long term, Brown became the foundation of the civil rights movement and reshaped the meaning of equality in the United States.
We have come to the conclusion of the presentation that states that Brown versus Board of Education declared racial segregation in public schools unconstitutional, violating the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. The decision marked a significant turning point in the civil rights movement, paving the way for desegregation in equal educational opportunities. The ruling recognized that separate educational facilities are inherently unequal, acknowledging that segregation deprived African American children of equal opportunities and perpetuated racial inequality. This landmark decision transformed American education and had far-reaching implications for the pursuit of equality and justice in the United States.